Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 97 of Malt and Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylon. We are back. We're almost all here in sort of physical presence. Everybody's here, but I'm struggling, as I've already popped in the chat. I have finally contracted the dreaded COVID, so you'll have to forgive me if the voice goes all over the shop tonight. And I may end up falling asleep halfway through stream, who knows. If that happens, just poke me, I'll soon wake up, it's fine. But before that all happens, apologies first of all. Last week, our resident Mr. Wizard got totally side-railed by work. Like, there was just no way anything else was going to happen last week. So it was never going to happen last week, but we don't hold it against him, of course. He's got a very important job to do. And of course, without him, it's just not worth it. So we can't do the stream without him. So, what else do I have to say? Of course, the other thing I have to say is a belated, because we were going to do it last week, but obviously we weren't here, but a belated happy birthday to Samal, our resident grave cleric. I won't tell you how old he is, but he is old, officially. Is that true now? I'm just waiting for the sneers to come in from the screens I can see on the back there. Anyway, let's not get too wrapped up in everything else that's going on as my brain rapidly tries to make connections. But let's do our usual thank yous. I've got to try and get back into the swing of this now with a week off. So usual thank yous to Incarnate, Alba Rodeo, Dungeon Alchemist, for all things mapping, virtual tabletop, battle maps, campaign maps, all of those sorts of things. Thank you to all those tools. Of course, huge shout out to D&D Beyond and Hero Forge for character creation, level ups, which we'll talk about in a minute, and also the character visuals is the word I'll use, or the phrase I will use for that. My brain is deteriorating already. Of course, a huge shout out and thank you to Ksoon, 5e Magic Shop, and 2 Minute Tools, which are the sort of DM tools that I use in the background, just those extra DM hints and tips. And then, of course, our stream will be nothing without the music that is on stream, as I randomly get messages in the background there. So a huge thank you to Tabletop Audio, and of course for the sound effects, a massive shout out to BattleBards, whom we are still affiliated with, which means we can still offer you that nice discount code, which you will see on screen as I'm speaking there. So when you register, go and use that code, Malt and Magic, and get yourselves a nice cheeky discount off of some sound effects for your game or radio play or whatever you're doing on Twitch, YouTube, podcast. However you want to use those sound effects, go and use them. I spoke last time about the Twitch updates to the channel. They are still there for you to go and see. Please interact with the channel. Of course, go check out all the social media links you can see there. TikTok is well and truly up now, and we are trying to use that more and more. I've been very lax this week for obvious reasons. But yeah, go check out the social media channels. And speaking of podcasts, don't forget to go and check out the Malt Magic podcast on your platform of choice. And if you get the opportunity to, please leave a rating or review. Every little helps. And the more we get the word out, the more things we can do. I think that's probably it for my thank yous and shout outs this week. Trying to save my voice a little bit. So, let's get straight to it. There's going to be some adult humage. I've done it again for like the second time on stream. Adult humour and adult language. I'm going to go have another drink. Let's roll.
Hi-oh.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone, more importantly than anything else.
So glad to be back.
Muted, or is it just
Well, I
me?
just sat by myself, not playing it, just rolling dice, making decisions. What do I watch my
so
telly?
just-
I roll a dice. I'll have a biscuit, roll a dice.
I thought you were going to say just playing with yourself, but you know that went
He was
somewhere
doing
else.
that anyway.
That's Ander more than Danny. So.
Yeah. Masturbate, roll a dice. Oh, yes. All my dice just say yes on them. There's no numbers. Just
roll a d100 to see how you must masturbate, yeah?
Oh, God.
Anyway, while we are all now on stream, before we get into anything else, happy birthday, Samau, again. Now we can all cheers.
Thank you.
Woo!
Yes, I am.
Many happy
I am
returns.
older.
Older, is that how we're
As
phrasing
as
it?
we are now.
Unfortunately, he will never get there. We will always be that step ahead of him.
We had a deal!
So,
That is a reference.
It is a reference.
that is a reference. Oh, there we go. So, before we lose it too much on stream, let's go down the lineup. I am Matt, I am the Dungeon Master, and also playing the psychic character of Bothrid.
I am Danny, who plays King Ander of Esamir, and I'm not sitting in the dark. My camera is just not recognising the lights that are in my room.
Wow.
For some reason.
You're playing Ander in the shadows.
Exactly. I'm about to do a sneak attack. That's what I'm
There you
doing.
go. It half corrected itself then.
Hey, there you go. Just need to get cleser.
I was about to say, yeah, just cover the sun behind you.
Hello, I am Simao, and I play Kirik Gravetusk, who has leveled up like everyone else. It's been fun.
I dread to
And
think
yeah,
what's in your
apologies for the humage.
The humage.
I hate you all.
Oh, man alive. I'm Dave. I play Dargon the Goliath Fighter Warlock. I do not have a maximum of 23 hit points. I have just updated something and now I need to fix it. So, yeah.
Well, that basically means you've got too many hit points to fit in the fucking box now.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave,
Little bit.
can I
So,
get
yes,
a dangly
let's-
star thing? Because I'm finally above 100 hit points.
Hey, you broke 100! Oh, my
Yes!
god!
I broke the HP Hyman. I'm above 100.
He's done it. He's only
There
gone
it
and
is.
done
So
it.
yes,
Done
following
it.
last week's episode, I think we posted it on social media in the end, didn't we, about the level up? But I, as a very bad dungeon master, had missed a previous milestone level up. So what I've done is given the boys and Bothrid 2 level ups. So everyone is now level 17, which means everybody's proficiency is +6, which is fucking stupid. And yeah, there's been a lot to go on. So I'm expecting Kirik to now just be a walking ball of radiant power.
Just burning people with radiance. Just like, hello, how
You
you
chose-
Oh, sorry,
You
sir.
chose your
Just gonna-
40 spells for today.
Yes, I'm expecting a long rest, so we'll get to that.
Oh my god.
I suppose with that, we
yeah,
should do a quick recap as well. Before we get into the details of the level up, let's do a quick recap of where we were previously, because it's been a couple of weeks, and my voice has started to sort itself out a little bit now, so we'll use that opportunity while it's there. The last time we streamed, we immediately pretty much got into the fight with the water elemental being behind the door, sort of opened the door and then had the scrap. And that took a fair while, but yet again there was no real... I don't think it was overly challenging to you all. I don't think anybody dropped, put it that way. Where was I going with that as messages come through? But yes, following that fight and defeating that creature, Kirik, you were granted with a great boon and conversed with a shrunk down version of the creature who described themselves as the old Hydra, Ol Hydra. For anybody that's read any of the other D&D books, you may understand that reference.
Hail Hydra.
You then definitely not that. You then began to start piecing little bits together. And there was a rather big revelation that then came out at the end about there were 4 of these sources, 3 of which you now have freed and have been granted gifts as a result. But what about the 4th? So I can't remember who it was, but somebody had the very clever idea to go and check, or to pull out the corpse of Theogodin and check the corpse for tattoos. And you found a mark of flames. And there was a few history checks, perception checks to check through memories, and had Anders seen that tattoo when he was a kid and being in baths and compromising situations with Theogodin? The answer to that was no, so it was a new thing. And then Kirik had to rack his brains, Ander had to rack their brains, if you like, for that moment when Theogodin died. Did anything happen then? No, because there was an anti-magic field up. But what happened when that anti-magic field came down? And that was when you realised that there was an orange glow that and shot off into the distance. And you have no idea what happened to it post that. And I think that knocked everyone for 6 a little bit. But in doing so,
we were
Ander
that close to it.
That's why we had the week off, really,
Ander
because we were that gutted about our decisions.
We're still reeling.
But Ander then had a conversation with the Moonblade of Vesemir as well. At which point, the Moonblade described how the sources were contained, what they were in essence, that power of creation, that primordial force, and how they were tamed, and why that makes Nihilin such an attractive asset to anyone wanting to wage war or wanting power. And you were told that the city where you suspect all of the forces to be coming from, of it, the sort of your enemy's forces, the Black City as it appears on your map, you were told that that was once called Rachmanian, after the brother king who sat on the throne there. And that is pretty much where we start tonight's episode. So,
Stick's got a very important question. Does leveling up refresh our HP/spell slots?
no.
Just try my luck.
Sorry, I'm
Very
looking at
sure
Stick's
it works,
latest
and
comment.
that's
That's brilliant.
Oh.
Oh, we
You just
have
sound
the
like a
best
code like that I
fans
would
in
use
the
at a bar. I'd be like, have you... Oh, look at there's attractive assets over there. Yeah, that makes sense.
The boobs are
Is that Wall Street lingo for
That's Ander when he becomes like king. So we're like, oh yes,
Cool.
attractive assets.
that dignitary has attractive assets, yes.
amazing
So,
talent.
Bulging portfolio.
Before we derail... Stop it. Before we
huge
derail too much. Stop it.
My stock is rising.
Try off.
Sorry. Stick
Sorry,
your fault.
where are we? Let's stick with that. Did we get
Well, this
out
is where
of
I
this?
was going to get to. So
I'm
you
too
are
deep in the whiskey clearly already.
too deep in something, mate. Jesus, you're still
Our assets.
in the temple, or the dungeon, or whatever you want to call it. I call it a temple. And the figure really in front of Kirik has not long dissipated, and you've had those conversations. I will say at this moment, Kirik and Dargon. In fact, Dargon, I think we've already done this for yours. I think you've already been granted your boon. But your arm burns, Kirik. And you feel imbued with a sense of power. Not
I
on your
will-
level up, I would say.
Ah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of will sort of look at my... I think I took the gauntlet out for this. And I will look at the origin of the pain, or the burn, as it were.
Yeah, and I think again we might have done this last week, but just to reiterate what it was, you see the mark on your arm, that sort of almost like a waterfall effect down your arm that glows blue, and you feel yourself imbued with power, and you now have the mark of the old Hydra, which is in your inventory, so you can go away and use that now. So you should each now have a mark from one of the primordial beings that you have fought and defeated and freed. So I can't remember all the names, but there will be the mark of the Hydra, there will be
The Ogre Mock.
the mark of the Anti-Bin, and the mark of the
Yep,
Ogre
that's
Mock.
me.
So there we go.
You gutted somehow that you got the Nazi octopus Hail Hydra one. How does that sit well with you?
Fine.
I love how one film has changed the word Hydra forever.
Oh no.
It is a mythological Greek beast and totally fucked now.
Can't fight the MCU juggernaut.
Well, you can talk about Greek mythology, or Roman mythology, but Hermes to me will also always be a shit delivery service.
It's not Hermes anymore, it's Every.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Every
Every time
every
they come the
parcel.
shit. Every time they chuck it over the fence is what it stands for.
Boom, mic drop. Right.
Dear.
Yes, we're outside of the temple now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Not outside, still in it.
I thought it came surface
I
level.
didn't think you'd come out.
We climbed out of the labyrinth, for want of a better word, so we may still be in the temple
Did you?
proper. You believed so.
Matt, we're going to climb out of the
Yeah, we're going to do that.
cave.
do that.
Excellent. You backtrack all the way through, up the stairs, and back out into the Temple of the Raven Queen. Job done.
Amazing.
Blimey, that took a long time, lads. Fucking hell.
The question is, it took us 2 weeks. The question is, well, now we're in the temple. We're essentially one door and one wall away from the outside world, where we've just raised a city with a big beacon. Do we hear any kerfuffle or any activity outside of the walls?
Make me
good question.
a perception check, please.
Man,
I shall do that too.
I was going to say, if we can all jump in on that.
25.
25.
Ooh. Also,
That's not bad.
25.
26.
I'll rub it in.
No,
Fuck's sake, somehow.
25.
Oh, it
Plus
is a
25.
25. Hey.
Yeah, I don't have don't have a thing for that. Yeah, 25.
That was a true Austin Powers moment there. Also, 25. Cool. All three of you, as you sort of come out into the temple proper and just begin to listen, there is that still hush to this temple interior that you always sort of what's the word? You always attribute to the presence of the Raven Queen. But there is also this subtle
Does it sound
Like a mobile phone getting
Arcane.
a text.
in origin?
pretty much. I'm gonna say make
Is
me
it
an
like-
Arcana check with
Is it the same
disadvantage, please, Dargon.
pulsating thing that we felt when we destroyed the other sources and there was like a dip in the magic?
5.
5. You're not sure if it's arcane or not. Ander, make me an Arcana check, please.
Coming at you. Oh, I've got +9 for that now. 21.
Fucking.
I just realised my athletics. Damn.
Was it +32?
no, it's not as good as yours, but it's still nice.
My highest is +18 for performance. Oh.
You don't need a blue pill.
Fucking hell.
So that pulsing that you hear is not the same as the pulse before that you've got when a source has been tamed or freed. This is continuous and seems to be coming from outside the temple.
Okay. Do you think... I mean, I'm a bit worried to stick my head out the door and find out what it is, but hopefully, best case scenario, the protective runes on the walls have been activated to protect us, or it's signifying a perimeter breach, and that's what that is. Maybe somebody's trying to get through the protective runes.
I'll open the walls and I'll open the doors and see what's outside.
I was going to say,
Open the walls. Kirik's leveled up that much. He's just
just hulks out. Strength of the sticks,
Well.
bang, table, done. Table? Temple.
there we are. That's my secret. I'm always angry. Kirik, as you step outside the door, that vroom, vroom, vroom becomes much louder, and you see around the whole city, as you begin to sort of just scan your head, those runic symbols that were on the walls are just flashing purple as a ring. Just lights around the city, just make me a perception check, please, sir.
I'll cast Detect Magic on it as well.
Okay.
You still want a perception check?
Just to fuck me up. I still want a perception check, please.
If Samal wasn't going to do it, it was happening as soon as Dargon walked out.
So with Detect Magic, you would see as these symbols light up in that sort of sequence, round and round and round, each one of them with Detect Magic on glows white.
Nice.
That was a
And
24.
probably a
for-
bit of grey.
And
It was a
grey.
24, right.
That's abjuration and.
Yes.
Divination.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, 24 perception.
You blinked once.
Okay. As you look out the doors and you see this sort of... You also notice that a rune or a gemstone or something is flashing purple at the same time atop one of the 3 embassies that you had walked past.
Which one?
The one that is constructed of wood and bark and leaves and vines.
The Feywild, let me see.
Mm-hmm. Correct, sir. Yeah, bringing the other guys in. I'll be like, yeah, it seems to be that the walls are protecting us and releasing some sort of magic field. I am assuming it will be very, very complicated for certain creatures to get in, which is good. And I noticed that the embassy for the Feywild seems to be glowing. Maybe there is some sort of message in there. I mean, how is everyone feeling?
I mean,
Of,
I'm okay, but I'm tapped out. I ain't running through any more battles as I usually do. I'll fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
just wondering if it might be worth.
My hunger is depleted for today.
Be no more mad. Do you-
I am too tired.
Just wonder if it might be
to
worth
anymore.
Might be
resting
worth
here because we're safe inside the
catching some
walls.
sleep. Yeah.
Do you think?
Do we want to
Can-
deal with this first?
Yeah. Can we find out? Double check it's okay. I thought we said some of it was damaged. You said something else was flashing.
Do
Samal,
you
would you
think-
have described also the fact that you saw it on one of 3?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
So if it's only flashing on the Feywild Embassy, or what we think is the Feywild Embassy, do you think that means it? Do you think it could be announcing the arrival of a delegate from that place, which is why that's flashing on top?
I mean, it could be a message, could be a person, could be a thing, could be the fact that we've got to set the other 2 up and they're broken. So let's go and investigate the one that is working, and if we need to, go back to the other 2.
So do you think we investigate the Feywild Embassy before we rest, just in case?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Kirik, you meant that this wall's protecting us, but do you think that we're possibly going to have magical eyes on us because of our obvious nature? Or do we think that's also stopped?
I'll cast see invisibility.
Do you mean being scried on by Osmosis?
Yeah. You know, you've done faraway vision on people before, Kirik.
Yeah, I'll cast see invisibility and see if I see anything. I think that allows to see stuff.
If I understand correctly, the bit of grey that you saw would mean that we are being protected against scrying, potentially? But we don't know. Yes, but you're right. Sorry, this is Dave, fourth walling. Yeah, see invisibility would show up that, wouldn't it?
Allows you to
would
see
show
what's
up if
scrying
anyone's scrying. Well, allows you to see a beacon that is scrying. You don't know who it is.
Yeah, you don't see someone's face like, ooh.
Just when you scry, it's like an orb that appears.
Just like a peeping Tom at the window.
Yeah.
With see invisibility now activated, you see nothing.
Sorry, we're burning through your spells at the moment, Kirik.
I can cast these at will.
Oh,
Of course you can.
badass.
Yeah, we should be okay for now. Doesn't seem to be anyone. I'll keep this up, but yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's investigate the embassy then. And then hunker down for the night before we march to certain peril.
That's a good question. It was morning-esque when his lordship raised this place. How long have we been there, and where are we in the day? We may be fucked.
Probably been here now. I was going to say, your foray into the temple depths, shall we say, has probably only taken a couple of hours at most.
Okay.
So it's still morning.
Yeah.
We can waste the day in the embassy and then go to bed.
I was going to say, I think we do need to wait for the wait a little longer. So let's go investigate before we sit down and rest.
We need to make sure we're going to be safe if we're going to rest here because, like I said, we're a literal sitting duck, big island in the middle,
and a glowing target, protected glowing target. We hope, but yeah, you know, a beacon of "We're here, come get some." To the embassy. Who's your lordship after you?
I don't think that was sincere, but I'll pretend it was. Thank you, loyal subject, and I'll lead the way. I was hoping to sit on a chair and you'd carry me in a procession, like. No, you won't do that.
If he asks me to carry a chair, I'm going to shove it through his neck.
You find the chair, and I will whack you round the head with it. How about that?
Thought you said you couldn't get angry anymore today, Bothrid. That was very aggressive.
That was passive aggressive.
It was aggressive.
That's different. I've got unlimited passive aggressive.
I was going to say he can tick that box every fucking time, you know.
I just
can
rolled.
do that at will.
We don't need to play it, but I just rolled an insight to see if Dalgan was sincere, and I rolled a 33. But yeah, carry on.
Fucking hell.
What about smacking around the head with a chair, or the fact of the?
No, the lordship bit.
100% not. Yeah. Don't even need to roll that. It was absolute sarcasm. 100%.
Right.
I just rolled it. And I was like, oh well, that's pretty high.
Right, now you've got super insight and I've got super deception. We need to have a face-off soon. I'll try and work that in later.
We already did. I already won that battle.
Yeah, but it's best of 3. There's a rematch clause in the contract.
Okay.
And that's the gift of the gab right there. Okay, so the three of you make your way over to the embassy to the Fae. And you do see this sort of gemstone with a rune in the centre of it is just pulsing. And the doors are currently shut.
Is I'm going to check whether the door is. Well, I'm going to check whether it's locked by mechanical or magical means, please. It's a fey door. I don't trust it.
Do you want to do mechanical or do you want to do magical?
I'll do magic first.
In which case, maybe an Arcana check, please.
Oh, thank you.
Guidance.
Natural 20! 29.
Oh, there it is.
Didn't need it.
I mean,
There
roll
are
the
no magical
d4 as
locks
well.
on this door.
No magical locks. Awesome. I will check for mechanical locks now, please.
Make me an investigation check, please.
I'll have guidance if you wish.
Let's see what's cracking. 28.
28. There are no mechanical locks on this door.
I'll open the door then.
Go on, full on Aragorn.
Actually, I'll
open,
knock.
mate.
I'll knock first. I'll knock first.
Okay, you knock.
I'll be polite.
It does echo. And then you do the whole Aragorn push. These two doors open. And what greets you when you open the door is bizarre for a brief moment. It's almost like part of the Feywild is encapsulated within this building. There are butterflies that sort of swoop around. There is this very faint but enchanting music that seems to permeate through the air. And it's almost like rays of golden sunshine just shine down at all times through this canopy of trees and plants which decorate the interior. And you see a number of desks, chairs, benches, different bits of furniture, all crafted very similar to that which you saw in the Kingdom of Phalead when you were there. But right at the far end, you see trees, or a couple of trees bent into an arch of sorts. And above that arch, a pulsating purple gemstone. Zoom, 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 zoom.
Do you think
Does
these
it
are
look like
also
a
portals?
sending stone?
I will give you that one for free. It is somewhat similar to a sending stone, yes.
Nice.
So, do you think this is actually a doorway into the Feywild? Because if it is, I'm now thinking each embassy has a portal to the place it represents, which means we've got a shortcut to the Black City, and they've got a shortcut here.
There were three, only three, or
Yeah.
were there? Yeah. So no.
A Phalead one,
yes,
a Shiver
of course there is
Spire
one here.
one, and a Black City one.
So yeah, you're right, because obviously this is the fourth. Ooh, that's a good point. Sorry, I just had racked around my brain when we were talking about, Feywild desks and chairs. That there's going to be, some fairy sitting behind one going, "Hello, Feywild Embassy. How can I help you?" Sorry, I just was stuck in my head.
Oh, like the dude in the fairy godmother factory in Shrek 2.
I was
Don't even
thinking
have
it'd be like
dental.
The waiting room in Beetlejuice is what I was going with in my head.
Mix that with Gringotts, and you've just got everything that we can see here.
Oh, hello, Warwick Davis. What are you doing here?
Does Mr. Splinterthorn have the key?
Oh, goblin. No. Sorry. Yes. So.
Anyway.
Does Ander go in? Do we follow?
Would I recognise it as like a travelling stone? Have I seen anything like it before? Having been through a few portals
Maybe
in
an Arcana
time.
check, please.
I've never made so many Arcana checks in my life. 21.
21. You've not come across anything like this specifically, I would say. But given what you have experienced throughout recent months, you get the impression this is some sort of gateway for representatives of the Fae to enter Esamir, and that this pulse is almost the doorbell.
Someone's knocking.
Given that we have friends and foes in the Feywild, or people who... Do I let them in?
Do we think this will let people in from the Fae? Because isn't that where we sent everyone to be safe?
They all went... Well, to be fair, though, yes, some people did go into the forest, Feyliad Forest. But I'm thinking everybody will have made it to Idril now, wouldn't they? Oh, no. Twags gone to Idril, but River's End would have come into the forest, wouldn't they? That's a good point, actually. It might be Lena.
I believe that everyone was sent there for protection from the Malt Masters, and yeah, basically, as far as I'm aware, unless I missed something during those fights, could have done. Everyone was sent to the Fae because it was safer there. This is intriguing. However, what about the other two?
So the fact that they're not pulsing means nobody's trying to come through. I don't...
Okay, that would make sense if it's, if you're assuming that they're the other three. One of them is up in Cold Shiver Peaks, whatever it was called. And the only person we know up there is a dragon. The good kind. However, where does the other one lead? We've only guessed so far.
So what I'm thinking is, if nobody's coming through it, they either don't know it's there, or they don't know how to activate it. Because Girth and my family had a good relationship with the Fae, I'm thinking that two-way portal thing has been used quite a lot, and the people who would have used it are still there, still alive. Shiverspire, desolated, nobody else is there. Black City, under new management. So the knowledge of the portal might have been lost.
It could have even been sabotaged by the people there.
I said Girth again, didn't I?
Yeah,
sorry.
You did.
You did.
It's my accent. Let's put it down to that.
Although maybe there is a...
Go on, Smell.
I'm just going to call him Grandad from now on instead of Girth.
There you go. Maybe there is a mechanism. I mean, you wouldn't create something in your capital that would allow for people to just walk through.
Sure.
Unless you had some form of stopping that. So maybe the reason why they can't come through is because there needs to be something done on this side.
Oh crap, do we need to do passport control? Bloody hell.
Well, all I'm thinking is, if they don't know it's there, passport is thieves' cant for travel documents.
Yeah, it's a leaf of parchment that tells you that you're allowed to move.
Sorry, I asked.
Thanks for coming, Buthred. I'm thinking, if they don't know it's there in the Black City, and that's where we think it goes, they haven't tried to come through. If we gathered all of the troops and got them to come here, they'll think we're fortifying here and we're going to try and hold it off. But what we could do is then use it to then surprise attack through the portal and all arrive in the Black City at once to take them all on. This could be our way to get to the Black City undetected.
Oh, you mean actually use this portal, if it's a portal, if that's what it is, to actually get into the Black City unannounced and without anyone noticing and get to our final objective. Like your thinking.
Final attack. Yeah.
Is there a big red button that we can press to find out what the fuck this one's doing, though?
Well, once we figure out how to open this one, we can apply it. But I think once we've called the banners, we can use this as our back door. So what I'll try and do...
You love a back door. Anyway, is there any way that I can hit this and make it work?
I will see if there is... With my Arcana check, or will I need to make another one, can I discern how to open or answer the doorbell.
I will say with your Arcana check, as you sort of looked down towards where this archway was with this purple glowing rune, you also notice there is a... what's the... like a
Press 1 for
lectern
admittance.
next to it? You've reached customer service.
Press 5 for more
So there is
options.
this sort of pedestal next to it with what looks to be more gemstones embedded into it.
No words or writing. Okay.
You're not close enough to really see that from where you are.
I will go up to the pedestal then and investigate what's occurring with that. See if I can figure out how to use it to open the portal.
As you approach the pedestal, there are 3 gemstones, relatively equal size. The leftmost gemstone is currently in time with the others, pulsing in time with the others, and pulsing in time with that surge of energy just rotating around the city.
And they're all the same colour.
Yep.
Has Kirik still got detect magic up?
See
No,
invisibility would have killed
because
that one.
see invisibility. No, see invisibility is technically not concentration. So yeah.
Ah, fair enough. In which case, yes.
I was just wondering.
Do I see anything on
Yeah.
on them
Are
stones?
you getting close?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to stick with Ander and be his bodyguard. As much as I was dissing him earlier. It's all in jest. No, I will not be your court jester.
Bear with me just a second while I double check what fucking type of magic that would be.
Welcome to any new viewers and welcome back to any of the old ones. We have been larking about for the
Sorry,
past like
my
half
brain
an
was
hour.
just going at this stage.
Yeah,
So-
but we've been plotting about.
Kirik, in this moment when you look down at this platform, this lectern in front of Ander now, there is, on that pulsing gemstone, there is just sort of this flowing orange and blue effect as your detect magic sort of washes over it.
That'll be evocation and
Justification.
Just evocation.
just evocation.
Orange and blue ebbs and flows. 5e magic
So-
shop if anybody ever wants auras.
So that seems that seems to be the type of magic that summons creatures and elements. So yeah, I would assume it's a gate. So I mean, I think the only reason they would know that it's unless this has been glowing for the past however many years, then it's surely someone that knows that the city has just risen.
Okay, well, it's either they know that the city's been risen, and that is either good news, but also attached with that bad news because every other place has been notified, or, as you say, it was sort of a magical disconnect, and when we re-enabled it, it reconnected to something that was initially there. So I say risk it and press it, and we'll either get an old message or old connection, or we'll get a...
So I actually think it's an answer phone. Answer machine. Voicemail. Service.
I don't know. You said it might have been sanding stone. It might be, it might be transport. Either way.
Do you think I could ask the Dryad to see if she knows how to open it?
I think just press the stone on there.
Alright. I'll press the button and see what my voicemail is.
Okay. Did you press against the stone, there is just this sort of slight spark of energy. And then in your head, you hear a series of voices. Are you sure this is meant to work this way? Yes. It's how it's all been told to us. Sort of place your hand and you get through there and these sorts of things. Perhaps they are not as proficient as we first thought. Step aside. And listen, you dick. If you're on the other side, open the fucking gate so we can come through, for fuck's sake. Cuts out.
Anything?
Nothing happened.
You would have heard there the voices, because my voice is all over the shop tonight, so just to make clear about who you heard, you would have heard Lena, the King of the King of Phalead, Gore,
Yeah.
and Captain Swift.
Nice.
Yep.
I knew all of them apart from the King of Phalead.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
So well done.
Thank you. COVID's not for me, totally.
It's Lena and the captain. They want to come through. They're asking me to open the door. So, open sesame. How do you open it?
Okay. Yes, totally. I get that is probably them. Is it a trick? Or were they under duress?
They sounded angry at me for not opening the door already.
Oh,
They didn't
yeah, it's
sound-
them. It's fine. Cool. All right.
I'll touch the stone on the door.
As you touch the stone above the archway, you're going to have to jump to get up there because it's quite tall. Nothing.
I will use strength of the sticks and I will touch it.
It grows and touches it. Nothing happens.
Can I say
And
open or enter in Sylvan? See if that works.
Bella.
And how strong is you? How strong would you consider your connection to the Dryad spirit to be?
Oh, since I've kind of dumped her for Mirabelle, I don't know how strong it is, to be honest. But being Fey Touch, I would say I've inherently got a connection in the back of my mind I could tap into, concentrate hard enough. And in this sort of setting, I always feel more in touch with my Feyness.
In which case, that was to help me decide what I was going to set a DC to be.
I'm very linked in with the super.
I am going to ask you to make me a straight. Let's make this a straight charisma check, please.
Oh, fuck me. I might use a lucky point now. I haven't got any left. Cock. I rolled a 1.
That was a journey.
Amazing.
You look around and just like, not really sure what to do here.
Yeah.
Oh, why is it always fucking doors?
Why is it always doors? I mean, I could cast knock on it if I wanted to. It's not that kind of door, is it?
You're at the same pedestal you were when you touched to get the message, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Touch all of them. Just touch all the stones.
But touch them all.
Which one are you touching first?
So
Himself.
I'll put my hand on the one that's lit, and then I'll touch the other two.
Which one are you touching first?
Middle one.
Middle one. You place your hand against that middle gemstone. Make me an Arcana check, please.
Dargon's going to get into a defense position, shield up,
15.
Timiel's Wrath on top, just ready for anything.
Okay, with a 15.
15.
You're going to feel this slight vibration against your hip. And then there's going to be sort of a whisper in your mind. You know, I was here before, you fool. I can do this again. Don't just touch the stones. You're the king. Use the stones.
How do I use them?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Unsheathe me, will you?
I'll get Shank out. Or is there a slot to put him in?
Very well, my liege. Place me against the stone.
Put him on the pedestal.
Your grace, I give you the Feywild. And there is a surge of energy which you actually feel comes from you. But the blade almost pulls it out of you into the stone, and there is a... What colour would you say your magic is naturally?
It's quite a dark purple with little bits of black going through it.
So this very violet and black surge, just almost like a tiny little violet and black flame, just ignites against the gemstone. And that purple pulsating gemstone with a rune above the arch just... And the purple glow changes to violet. Really trying not to pay attention to the chat at that point. This violet... Fuck you all. This violet fire begins to burn from that gemstone down around the archway. And then along the floor. And where it burns, then a line of fire just begins to appear from top to bottom in the middle of this archway, bisecting the archway. And slowly but surely just... And you see beyond the Feywild. And lots of people. A figure steps forward. And a ladrin, clad in bark-like armour and carrying a standard. As they step forward, they place the standard in the ground and bend down to one knee. Your Grace, King of Esamir, I present you the Lord of the Feywild, King of Phaliad, my king. Will you receive them?
Of course.
Well,
You may stand.
fuck me.
You're most gracious. And they stand and bang the standard on the floor 3 times, turn to the side. And a man who once gave you the bow has seen you through so many endeavours in recent months. Steps forward. A crown of vines and berries atop their head. And they step forward, arm in arm, with another Eladrin. A male Eladrin. Also adorned with a crown of sorts, but less majestic. My Lord King of Esamir. Long has it been since we walked these halls. It is a pleasure to do so once again.
It is my pleasure
bring
to
you your
welcome you
friends
back,
and
my
allies.
liege.
Thank you. I bring you your friends and allies, whom we have watched over. Sons and daughters of the Fae, some of them. Others, fun characters, we shall say.
It's polite of you to put it that way.
My guests, please venture forth. Lena and Micaiah step forward, still garbed in their attire that they were wearing when they escaped their city as it fell to the demons and the devils even. And beyond that, the crew of the Winter's Tale steps forth as well. Captain Swift, Gore, Carstan, Hedam, the whole bunch, they all step through. They sort of filter into the room around you, and Captain Swift sort of doffs a cap to you, and then sort of mouths, "We need to talk later." The King of Phaliad then turns to you once more. Your allies in the Fae are varied and many. We were aided in this journey, in this magic. One who bears connection wishes to also step forth. Will you receive her?
Of course.
My lady, you are welcomed. And through that veil of purplish black fire, a tall, green-skinned dryad steps forth. And she looks upon you, Ander, and smiles. You have come a long way, my king. Almost time for you to be done with me, I think.
You will always have a place in my heart, even if we're done how you mean. You'll always be a part of my life.
And I have not lived this long. Do not understand the whimsical nature of men. You are a king, and a king needs a queen. I am a creature of the Fae. Of course, you don't have to have a queen. It's been the done thing for many a year, but as my lord here represents, a king may have a prince, a lord, a consort. But you will need a partner. And I can only provide so much.
So I'm assuming I'll never see you again. You cannot be my envoy between this world and yours.
I was hoping you would ask that. This place grants a connection, and while I can't be an envoy, I can be a visitor.
I was
My
hoping
friend,
to continue an old tradition that Gareth had before me and have a great connection and working relationship between my kingdom and yours. And I'll say that to her and the king.
do you believe that may be the first order of business for the new king of Essamir? Perhaps a little premature, though.
You know me too well.
You are crowned in unofficial capacity. The nations must recognize you.
May I interject, my lady, or my lord? can I ask, how did you know that this was available for you to get us here? We are concerned that there are connections elsewhere we would like them not to know. And I apologise for interrupting. You can understand.
No, by all means. We are aware by the fact that the gate that once shone with a watery glow became clear. A gate that has been dormant for all too long was once again imbued with power, as a new king apparently sat on the throne. As for your other concerns, well, as you have already seen, you could not enter into this place without the king's approval.
We are not aware of any other requests to arrive here, but is it safe to say that anyone else may know this? We are stabbing in the dark here, but we feel that one of these portals may lead to what we believe is called currently the Black City, or may have been called something else in the past. I'm worried that they already know we're here.
Oh, of course they do. But why should that make a difference?
Oh. Tactically, not a huge amount. It may change one or two things. I'm trying to gather information on the battlefield, that's all.
The battlefield will not be here.
I mean...
The dragons saw to that.
What?
You can see the draconic runes.
Right. Thank you.
No force can enter this city without the king's or the regent's distinct permission.
Okay. Well,
Insight check.
Colour me
Yeah,
slightly
insight
at
check.
ease.
That's made me feel better about it. We have a
32.
Fortress of Solitude.
Say that again, Garrick.
32.
There is, as you have come to realise with this particular individual, no airs and graces, no bullshit. They tend to speak their mind and just state what they know.
So, when you said I
That
must
is
be accepted
not
as king by all of the nations or the parts of Phaliad. So if I was to try and call the banners and call forth forces from everywhere to take on the Black City, if they join my cause, that would be essentially them accepting me as their king, right?
They will have to recognise it officially. There will need to be a coronation of sorts, but given time pressures, I think it would be more fitting for oaths of fealty.
Yes, I was going to say some slightly more battlefield contract, as you discuss. Very fitting.
Okay. Sorry to put you on the spot, Lena. If the time comes, and obviously River's End is an important part of my to-be kingdom that we will rebuild, do I have River's End's fealty? Looking to you as who I would appoint as the Warden of River's End.
I wouldn't say you can appoint me. I've been a queen in River's End for far too long. But
You know what I mean. bit tongue in cheek. I'm just
You have
being.
shown yourself, all of you have shown yourselves to be true allies. And in this fight, River's End stands with you.
And I promise to always protect it.
My people will be glad. I'm assuming they are allowed to enter into the city following this conversation. Those that remain.
They are all welcome.
My lady, Lena, do you have any scouts, trained soldiers, or anyone who you may wish to send out first into the city and make sure that there is nothing that can harm the general population as they walk about? I do not know how this place has been forged and how the years have fared. Maybe a scout party to make sure that people do not wander where they should not.
Probably wise. I would have thought you boys would have already done that, but
Yeah, really not.
Okay.
We've literally just got here, so that's why I'm asking.
no, I know how it is. You fly by the seat of your pants. Literally
Pants,
sit on
yeah.
a throne, raise a city, and
Yeah, I mean, I don't wear them. You know, it's just a kilt and armor under here. But you didn't need to know that. So
You want to be
moving
glad
on.
he's wearing full suit armour because I've seen some things. but yeah, what I will say is, although it's not much and it's obviously recently been underwater, you can count Essamir as your home until we return you to River's End.
and a home we shall make it.
It's a bit of a fixer-upper at the minute.
I hate to ask our our guests and our new arrivals, but you didn't bring any wine or bread, because maybe we do need to sit round a table and discuss what we need to be doing moving forwards. We
Well, the
only
first
could bring
thing-
water.
We can bring food. The first thing that you must do, the four of you, is think about the other allies you have in this land still, where they can be called from. I suggest you make this city your staging post. It is up to you then whether you retake, if I'm correct, those cities that have been lost, whether you take the fight direct to the enemy. But a word of advice from a lord, if not a king: wars are fought easier when you haven't got a long way to get home. Build your path to your target.
Duly noted, and very good advice.
I'm not very good at kind of cryptic sentences. Do you mean fix the portal in the embassy or via Deluin? Or do you mean literally
There
the
are
bridge from
multiple
here
ways.
across the lock?
Well, that would be one thing, although that does present your enemies with a potential route in. I'm more thinking, give your armies the chance to rest when you raise them, before you launch a final assault on the Black City. It will be well guarded. There is a great desert to cross. You need further staging posts. You must now shape the battlefield of Nile to your will, not theirs.
This is why I think we should
Good
all
point.
sit down, take stock of what we have, and discuss what we do next.
Can we, I know that's a bit cheeky of me to ask, could we count on Phaliad's forces in our fight?
Knowing what is to come, until this foe is driven back, Feliad's arm is yours.
Thank you, my king.
You have forged a bond with the Fae, and I will honour that bond. But when this war is over, I will expect recompense and promises, oaths that will be fulfilled.
We can definitely sit down and talk about how our two kingdoms can work together for a better future for all of us.
A better future for all. Very well. My Lady Lena, your people have waited long enough. King Ander, if you would, we would like to start moving the survivors back and bringing our forces forward.
Of course.
Shall the 6 of us, 7, 8, Micaiah, I'm assuming you're coming as well, shall we retreat to your keep for now and discuss further there? You look weary, perhaps the 4 of you would like to rest?
Definitely.
I certainly wouldn't say no if we're safe here, but maybe a discussion before we retire.
Yeah. I'm thinking I don't want to leave here. I want to bring everybody here, so I'm hoping our friends in Idril can just teleport everybody here.
Out of character, long rest while we short rest, chat, long rest, or just chat and long rest.
Just long rest and chat.
Long rest and chat.
I'll say I don't think we need a short rest. I think we'll be alright. Chat then long rest.
Alright.
My chat and long rest. Yeah.
I'd chat and long rest because then we have an idea as to what, especially someone like Kirik, what he wants to do and change.
What
for the next,
spells he'll need for the next day.
Because we are going to talk shit for a while now. You know. So, anyway, that's my 2 pennies worth.
Yeah.
So.
I'll lead the way back to the keep then, while they're bringing the others. While they're bringing the others through.
Okay. And as you all turn and sort of exit out of the embassy, you can see that a number of Eladrin soldiers begin walking through, and they are accompanied by the people of River's End, the survivors of River's End, some of which are the Rangers, some of which are just general townsfolk. You see Micaiah actually stays behind as she plants a kiss on Lena's head, urges her to go with you, but she stays to make sure everybody gets through. The crew of the Winter's Tale also help. And Captain Swift just sort of walks past you, if anything, the 4 of you. We all need to talk when you get a moment.
We'll sort something.
And she wanders off. You all make your way north to the large keep of Esmir, at the centre of the city. Kirik, as you...
Is there a way when we're walking to the keep? Is there a way to be in a huddle with the captain so she can tell us what she wants to tell us while the other ones hang back, or is that too risque to be overheard?
The crew of the Winter's Tale seem preoccupied with getting people out at the minute. The impression you got from Captain Swift there was that she definitely wants a communication or a conversation in private.
Okay.
Kirik, as you exit the Fey Embassy, there is a whisper on the wind. Kirik, The time is now near. There are things you must all unlock. Powers which can be granted. But in order to do so, sacrifices must be made. When you are ready, seek me out.
Was that her?
It was her.
I will look slightly kind of like taken aback. Because that's a little bit strange. But yeah, but I'll move forward towards the keep.
Okay. So, your small party now makes its way up to the keep. Bothrid sort of looks around and then... I shall wait outside. This sounds like important stuff, and well... I am just an axe at the end of the day.
Oh, Bothrid, you're much more than that. But I do agree. Could you help the advance guard check that the city is safe? We don't know what's been here.
I will scout.
There might even be some
And I will
squid
guard
or
the doors.
shark or anything just stuck in here. Kill anything that moves, because these people may not be able to help themselves. I would be very grateful if you did that.
And on a lighter note, Bothrid, whilst you're patrolling, you can find yourself the future site of the King's Gardens. Think about that.
Ooh.
It might be full of seaweed.
Bothrid totally loses himself for a moment, just lost in thought. Sorry.
Having wet dreams about future plants and shrubs.
I will make it beautiful for you, Ender.
I know you will.
Have fun. Don't break
Probably
any
not.
alliances before you make them.
There's a pep talk if ever heard one.
Yeah, because he didn't
Don't
promise
fuck it
anything.
up.
What was I? Don't fuck it up. So you enter now into the keep of Loch Esmer, if you like, or the city of Esmer, which is pretty run down, as we've said before. There is the throne at the centre with that oculus, where light just beams down onto the throne. There's a number of broken benches and stuff around. And both Lena and the Lord of Phalead just sort of look around and... It won't quite do for a king, I don't think. Lena, if you will. Lena's just going to step forward and... Oh well, the first of many gifts, I guess. And she's just going to hold out her arms. And she begins to cast almost like a mass mending type spell. And benches begin to reform. Seats begin to fix themselves. Tapestries begin to reweave, and then she almost thinks, no, you're going to want your own. But she forms enough seats around the throne for you all to sit and converse. I think that
Thank you, Lena. And I will. It's a bit weird. Although Ander likes being the centre of attention, this is a weird kind of a situation for him. And he'll, I suppose, on the surface, he is confidently sitting on the throne. On the inside, he's like, what the fuck is happening here? I've talked the talk, now I've got to walk the walk, and I'm not... didn't think it'd ever happen.
The Lord of Phalead drags up a seat to either side of the throne. You may be king, but I see this advisors on equal footing, so only fitting they sit either side of you.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
My Lady Lena, if you will. And he sort of leads her across to another seat. And you all sit down. Well then, have you a thought of allies? You cannot think to take the Black City with just a handful of Fae and the survivors of survivors of River's End. Freudian slip.
We've got... well, when Glentwag was hit, they all escaped to Idril. So we know we've got allies in Idril. Mantineer?
Idril?
Yes.
Why Idril?
I think the distiller would have took them there because of the university. It's a place she's familiar with. Probably a second home for her.
Possibly a high place of, or a place of high arcane ability.
And also one of the only places left. I think
I
we'll
certainly agree with.
Possibly for a reason, and that is hopefully their arcane ability.
Easy to defend, yeah.
It was our intention to be in touch with them.
Have you conversed with the Crystalline Circle?
Do
you have their favour?
Not yet.
The leaders of, or the arcane coven of Idril. It is not just a city, it is run by a circle of great mages.
No, is the honest answer, and it was our next thing on the list.
Yeah, we was hoping to use our distiller friend as a way in to sort of garner those conversations, but we think we will be able to call on them because of our alliances with people who are probably former members or allies of the circle, Crystalline Circle. I'm thinking we also can call on Mantineer because Dargon went into the temple, garnered audience with the Everlight Temple priestesses, and they said they would, they can't offer fighting arms, but they can offer us healers, they said.
Yeah, I will clarify that it was definitely only healers, and we did not get the favour of the entire city, but more of the Everbright Temple. We may,
so they're not against us, but they're not necessarily
be able to
sway
the rest of the city, but that is no guarantee.
I would play on your strengths on that one. You have the favour of the Everlight, as is obvious by your radiant glow. We'll leave it at that. They should see sense in this.
Well... anyone got a map here? Because I thought Idril was near Mantineer, was it not?
Well, it's near Moonbright.
Yeah, not the place I was trying to go under.
It's one place.
Survivors of Moonbright. Sorry. Does anyone know where they may have gone?
Do you think if Idril's the next place, they may have gone there, or do you think they may have fled into the forest?
Okay, well then let's wait for more information from Idril.
Yeah. I'd be no surprise to you, Lena, that we probably will not have the support of Deluin. I doubt your father would recognise me as his king.
I was hoping to perhaps delay this conversation a little bit, but you have brought him up. There are two routes to the Black City. One lies through Hellspawn Pass, with no city close enough to act as a forward operating base of any sort. Perhaps, unless you count the Maltmaster's Keep.
Which is overrun.
Deluin offers us a strategic position.
My lady, we had a very similar conversation not but 4 hours ago. You can understand our hesitance with such a subject, but we wondered whether some arrangement could be made with the city.
I think the only arrangement that's going to happen from here on in, Dargon, is to remove his head from his shoulders.
Oh, I didn't want to put it lightly, but that was pretty much what we were thinking of. However,
you said
we
it,
were
not us,
trying
so
to think of other options.
It was option A, but we were hoping you may have a plan B. But okay.
He did nothing to help me in mine when we were under attack. And I highly suspect that corruption is deeper than we may first think.
You know me, I hold a big sword, but maybe the punishment that he can befit him is to watch his plans crumble around him. I suggest he sees where he saw his mistakes.
Do you think, though, because what I don't want to do is go in all swords blazing. I was going to say all guns blazing. I know we do have guns because Carstan can do that. I don't want to go in heavy-handed because obviously there's innocent people. There's people under his control that may not want to follow his orders. So I'm thinking if you take the head off the snake, will the rest of Deluin just be okay?
Do we know anyone with those types of connections? And is that something that we need to try and rekindle any connections with some underground traffic? Try and get some more information.
We could. So I was thinking, I could try and use some backdoor connections, some back alley. Underhanded means, should we say, but or we could just go in on the guise of, we tried to get the source for him last time we were there and we told him it had gone and he believed us. We could go back saying we've got intel of where it's gone and we can help him get it, and then we could literally assassinate him.
Yes, I agree. I think a dual mixed purpose. I suggest that we get ourselves in there by misinformation, as you say, get ourselves in there as an envoy, and then we have enough people to subdue the temple and enough people around the city to dissuade any of his loyal followers to do anything but surrender. A bloodless coup from someone such as myself is actually quite required. But if it doesn't go down that way, we have enough people to make it happen quick.
Do you think that people will answer to you, Lena?
Will they answer to me?
Have they been
blood.
oppressed for years?
I have not been to Deluin in a long time. Not since well before my brother met his end.
Question, DM. Are we allowed, maybe a bit of a stretch, to do some sort of maybe history check to go, did we see anything as we were walking through that might give us that sort of insight as to whether we actually saw people being oppressed? Now we look back on it.
The answer is going to be yes.
Are you thinking like North Korean propaganda type stuff?
Not necessarily that, but just, people live under oppression, and it's just like they deal with it because that's what they know. These guys aren't going to be travelling very much. That's what I'm coming to.
Kirik definitely saw a crumbling tumble to the Raven Queen there, so
True.
It could be religious oppression.
Yeah.
So, Dargon, I'm going to ask you to make me a twofold check. I need a history check first. If it's 10 or more, I then need an insight check.
Okay, I'm going to roll this outside of my dice tray because there's currently a pebble in it. And for those who don't know, that's my cat. literally sitting in the whole thing.
Yeah.
I literally can't.
Can't roll a cat, apparently.
No, apparently not. Apparently that's not allowed. So, well, you said history first, which is lucky. It's 11 because that was a 10 plus 1, and then it was going to be an insight, which is
Insight check, please.
I mean that. Yeah, we'll go with it. It's a natural 1, which brings me to a 1. So yeah, that's an 11 and a 1.
So you do think back to that brief time you're in Deluin. You remember that the guards have been very quick to subdue you, capture you.
Yeah.
But you also realise you didn't have enough time, really, to get any feel for the general populace.
I think from that, Dargan would just take the fact that there's some sort of military... Not oppression, that's not the word I'm thinking of, but definitely a military ruling. Not to say that that's not a bad thing, but he might put Deluin's
version on dictatorship.
That's what Dargon's going to bring to it, I think, because you say didn't see how the community was being. We did literally jump into some guards. So,
and we got massive prick vibes from him. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
what I wanted to do.
Then, if we was to, Lena, if we was to free Deluin from your father's pitiful rule, do you think you would want to take the mantle for River's End and Deluin? Or is that too much to ask of you?
If you are asking me to claim the Twin Cities, then I will do so.
That's what I was hoping you would say.
And at least then you have a tactical advantage.
I'm almost on
At the minute.
on the realms of stealing an idea from Game of Thrones here, and she could be like the Warden of the South.
Yep, COVID cough. There we go.
So, we need to get more people from Idril. We possibly will get some more people from Mantineer, and I will discuss with you all how I potentially make my way by magical means up there with a few people to try and convince them. And of course, it would be great to have you there to show your reign possibility. But I think that potentially I'll have to be there as the connection to the Everlight. A question for anyone in the room. And I do say this to those of Phaliad. We are aware of at least 1 or 2 cities east of the forest, which we have very little knowledge, understanding, and we've never been there. I believe one of them are connected with or run by orcs. Do you know if there's any way that we may be able to help them help us? Because I hope that they have already seen the atrocities that are going on. This is a new connection, but everything will help.
Ardbjerg will... Last I communed with them, their leader is known as Zorax. If you wish them to fight on your side, you're going to have to make promises.
Promises we will want to keep, or ones that will put us in a difficult situation.
I don't advise betraying a tribe of orcs.
I would never think of betraying it. I mean, would we want to agree to that promise in the first place?
That will very much depend on what they ask for.
Very well. We will make that judgment.
As for Atticus, the city between Phaliad and Ardbjerg, they have always been a waypoint as such. It may be that you treat with them first. They have always maintained the order between the Eladrin and the orcs. Indeed, I believe their leaders are both half-elf and half-orc.
Yeah, this is very useful information and more than I think we've had before. I hope we can use it to our advantage. Kirik, Ander, is there anyone else that you think that we might need to be able to pull upon? Or I am considering the island to the east. Greenflower is gone, but we may well be able to get some of their people. But do we know about the rest of the island?
Oh, I can't remember. Did Grellan take the people of Greenflower away, or were they still in Glentwag and went to Idril with the rest?
Good shout.
So they went to
Glentwag,
Idril.
and therefore they would have gone. If they've survived, they would have gone to Idril.
Okay.
Good shout.
Do you also think? So we'll have those. Oh, do we travel that far just to then come back on ourselves?
We don't need to travel that far. We can send messages.
True. I'm just thinking, does it have more gravitas if we come? Because I can't just go, oh, by the way, your new king says, can you come and fight?
Maybe Idril, as a university, will have more information on that island. Maybe of the White Ridge Keep or anyone further south.
What about...
A word, if I may, on that one, and a king does not need to travel, but a king does have envoys who will travel for them.
I know, but I want to make a good first impression by showing how much it means for me to meet them by showing up in person, if you know what I mean. It seems a bit hubris
You're going to have to prioritise your allies.
True.
For instance, it may well be that I go to Mantineer myself as your envoy, King Ander.
True. A big shiny beacon of hope.
Kirik, you can insight that one if you want.
You bastard. Speaking of allies, it's probably a good time to try and recall Gindris and Remley. A big old dragon would be helpful.
On that note, and unless anyone else has any other allies that they may think of around the map, should we start creating a battle map of our enemies? The one I think of, as you remind me, Ander, is where is that damn dragon?
Zaphania.
Yes.
Sorry,
Hopefully dead.
dragon.
It was a while ago, but unfortunately there was a great, dead, and I believe white dragon, who unfortunately is no longer dead, resurrected, and causing havoc. We have not since regained any knowledge of her, I think, since we saw her resurrected.
So we not just have, or we don't just have foes to the west, but also to the
North, maybe.
And south.
And south, because we have the undead.
Oh, yep.
And also, unless we... Oh, hang on a minute. History check. What happened to the doodad? So, River's End.
doodad. The doodad hit the flingamajig.
Yes, and I think it needed the Skadoodler to finish it off. So,
didn't we kill Duke Corfio?
I was going to say, well, no, not him. Was it him? Oh crap! The guy in River's End, not the Stillman, the fourth Malt master.
The blender's husband.
Stillman.
The Stillman who has the blade of badness.
No, we didn't kill him. We left.
The Blaboon blade.
Thank you.
We retreated. Even.
We retreated.
He's now in full human form with red skin, isn't he?
Yes. It's catching. Off. Apparently, we all can't speak. Okay.
1 week off.
Yeah, one. We have the undead to the south. We have the Stillman to the south. We have the fiends to the west, and we potentially but we don't actually know where. An undead great dragon to the north.
Yeah, I'm hoping the DM forgot to write her into the end of the story. We don't have to worry about her again.
We've had fucking side, cutaways.
I mean, Matt's brought up stuff that's this relevant from 8 months ago, and I was like, so he's definitely bringing back Zapanir, isn't he? 100%.
Someday I was going to be riding Zapanir into battle, you'll see.
Long hair flowing.
There'll be an end credit scene where Asmodeus and Zapanir are having babies like Donkey and the Dragon from Shrek.
Wow.
Cool, there's a D&D concept. Half dragon, half celestial babies.
Yeah, but they've got to be donkeys.
That's how Dragonborn's are born.
That's why they have hooves.
Yeah, that's how you make a kobold, isn't it?
It sounds to me... like we need a plan of attack. You have multiple enemies in multiple places. We cannot fight them all at once. Much like Lena says, you must prioritize your allies. We need to prioritize our enemies, and well, the Black City is obviously the target we must take out, or at least those who sit on the throne there. But I wonder if some of these other enemies pose too much of a threat to march on the Black City without seeing to them first.
Something may have changed since, but the first time that we met the undead, they were not entirely unreasonable, and they actually just wanted to get back, if I'm entirely honest. If there was any way of encouraging them via force or otherwise, I'd like to see them gone. Very much so.
I think everybody in the room visibly sees Kirik just sort of...
Well, there is a way of persuading them to go.
Yeah, there's no helping them back.
Dawn.
There's forcing them
Just to say,
into the sun.
Just dawn, a bit more dawn, and another dawn afterwards.
I'm just thinking, though, on your point around are our other enemies outside of the Black City too powerful to not ignore? Are they also far enough away that we could take the Black City before they get there?
Too risky. If they're all there, we're screwed. Simple as that.
We can try and check where they are.
Yeah, but call them away and deal with them one by one. A lot of these, I hope that the dragon will be cocky. So will be the Stillman. The undead will be... Help me out with another word to cocky. Thank you. Let's play on them, and let's use our strengths of friendship, community, and the connection that we have with everyone in Nylin. Let's not use the same errors they will. Let's not be arrogant, but let's have confidence in our friends.
That armor's changed you, Dargon.
I was about to say, if I could do some sort of, was it called heroic something or other? I can't remember now.
Have you took the
I can't remember what
Winston
that
Churchill
called.
thing, because that was a good speech.
This is war.
Inspiring leader is the...
Inspiring leader, this is what we need to do, boy. We will fight on the beaches. And then,
Dalgon turns into Winston Churchill?
with a cigar,
Well, now
not
he's got
bad.
that armour on.
He's got the
he can't
cigar.
turn into a werebear, can he? With that armour on.
All I need to do, all I need to do is have this meeting in a bath, and I'm Winston Churchill, and then we're good.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, boys, I think we need a battle map. Might I suggest we turn this into not just a throne room, but a war room?
On this suggestion, can I bring out the map that has presumably been in my bag of holding since we not nabbed it, but were given it right at the start by the Malt Masters?
Mm-hmm.
Bring it out and be like, well, this may not be very, big enough. If you know anyone who might be able to create a larger parchment version of this, then that might be helpful. Otherwise, this will do.
That will do fine. We just need something for troop positions and, well, something to plan with.
Anyone who's any stone cutters, any masons, anyone you know or might have in the community who might be able to make some little icons for us, if they can spend a couple of hours, then we would be over grateful. There might
I'm
be
sure
some
we can
driftwood around as well.
Sing. We may be able to sing such things from the trees. Listen, you're all tired. Let's get some rest, or at least you get some rest. We will have supplies, forces, troops brought in from the Fae. I will reach out to other forces within the Feywild as well. The courts may want a hand in this.
That's very gracious. What will it cost us? Or will you be able to find that out?
Unfortunately, contracts with the Fae, although I am Fae-born, true Fae, are tricky.
Then we will take their help with a pinch of salt.
Salt will always help against the Fae. Certain rings of salt. Sorry, I digress. Totally different topic. Ignore me. Go get some rest, boys.
I would say where you could find us, but we don't know where we're going to rest yet. But thank you for your counsel.
I would think there are bedrooms in this keep. Find them.
I'm sure there are.
We might need to cast a lot of mending again before we go to bed, but yeah.
Suggest you get some sleep. We can worry about the deck wall another day.
On behalf of the king, thank you very much for all of your counsel, and we shall adjourn and meet you in the morning.
Lena, shall we go for a walk? And Lena just sort of stands, rests an arm, and they begin to leave. Ander?
Is the Winter's Tale crew in the room?
No.
Okay, should we go find Captain Swift before we retire? Do you want to speak to us?
Maybe one of us should go find them and bring them here. Shall I?
Well, it's not going to be the king, is it? I'm pretty comfy in this chair.
Then your head of security shall go and find them, my liege.
Don't undersell yourself. You're the master of arms.
No, thank you all.
Battle master.
I do a very poncy bow to the king, and then I walk out to go and find Captain. Yeah, like full on, 7'6" of me.
And
I
hope your helmet falls off and you get creaky. And the helmet falls off and you get top heavy and you fall over.
What I do is light a cigar as I walk out, like.
You'll hear a message in your head saying,
Cool.
Sarcastic twat.
Right, well I will say then, as Dargon goes to find Captain Swift and the crew of the Winter's Tale, let's take a short break because we are almost 2 hours in, and well overdue one. So, yeah, we'll take a quick 5-10 minute break and then we will be back.
See you in a minute.
Hey, yo!
No distracting
We're
word
back.
this time.
No, there wasn't.
No, too focused on spells.
Perineum in my ear this time.
You didn't. Can't say what you're
Which is a
expecting,
feat in
yeah,
itself.
applies this one.
That's what she said. So,
Some hours frantically
yes,
choosing spells while Dargon goes to speak to Captain Swift.
That's all good. So, Dargon, you leave the keep, follow sort of the Lord of Esamir and Lena as they sort of wind their way back to the Fey Embassy. But you now see there is a flurry of activity as there are more bodies than you were expecting. People pulling out supplies and bringing stuff through.
Yeah, do I also notice, I know that I'm not in that room in that embassy, but Is there a significant travel in both directions? Do we know this is now a two-way door? Or is this, one way and people having to pass shit through?
Without going back into the embassy, it'd be difficult to tell.
Fine, I won't know. But I will try and find where Captain Swift went. So unless I saw her go in a different direction, then I will have to go back into the embassy to find out if she's there.
Cool. So you wander back and sort of peek your head into the embassy, where you do see people moving in and out of the archway now that it is aflame.
Okay.
Captain Swift isn't there, but you then hear or feel a presence behind you and a soft voice. The captain will see you to the west of the city, Dargon.
Well, it's mighty brave to sneak on someone like myself. How you doing? And I'll turn around.
And Geo stands there in her glory with all her attractive assets.
I have a smile on my face before I turn around, knowing who it is, and just it was a quib to say that.
Mm-hmm. I am well,
Lead me.
and I am grateful for your assistance in the last few times we have encountered each other.
You have helped us out just as much, if not more. Please, lead the way.
Do follow. There's a weird sort of Mediterranean in Irish accent going on here, just because I can't get it right. But she weaves in and out of buildings, but eventually sort of takes you to an abandoned... They're all abandoned around here, but a smallish circular building that's abandoned. And you can see the crew of the Winter's Tale have sort of taken up residence here and just set up some makeshift bunks and an area, and they've brought the materials that they could with them. Who knows what happened to the airship?
I would like to note that on the way there, Dargon did find it ironic that he actually said that he would go, considering that he's a fucking beacon, and that they wanted to have a quiet conversation. So that does go in his mind, but goes, yeah, we're down this path now.
And I will say that most people seem to just give you and Geo a berth. Not a wide berth, but enough room to move freely. They don't seem to want to... Either they don't want to argue with Geo, or they don't want to argue with the hand of... Well, a hand of the king.
The mountain.
And you don't want to be the mountain, he was a cunt.
Nah, he was. I would say that I'm walking through now with hand on sheathed Timiel's Wrath, and my shield is now on my back.
And as sort of Geo leads you in, my captain, your ally. And Captain Swift's just going to look up from underneath the brim of her captain's hat, which she then takes off. Well, doggone. It's been a time.
Walking in here, I'm reminiscing of the first time we met in a small little village to the east. Times have changed.
Yeah, the drink flowed better there.
I'm sure we can sort that soon. It's very good to see you all again.
And you.
I didn't know whether you wanted to have a conversation here. We do have the king's room to ourselves if you wanted to speak to all of us. Or whether you just prefer to speak to me as an envoy.
You're here, let's just talk as friends. There's There's been a lot of discussions in the Feywild. We are obviously not privy to the machinations of court, but we hear things. We're pirates, after all. And you hear Carstone sort of, yeah. Listen, there was talk. And I don't know if they're going to tell you, so I figured I would. Where Nylin is right now, I don't know what that means, but where Nylin is right now, apparently that puts him at an advantage.
Asmodeus, I presume.
I'm assuming that's what they meant by him.
Right. Okay.
Something to do with gates and the power of said gates being diminished in this place. Nobody was really very clear about it. But I didn't want you going in quarter-cocked, let alone half-cocked.
Yes. We were discussing our allies and also our enemies. But yeah, the other...
I mean, don't get me wrong, these people definitely want to help.
Oh, they do, absolutely.
I worry about when the time comes to deal with Asmodeus. How many of them are going to stick around knowing what he is? He's a god, after all.
Well, if he bleeds and all that.
Does he bleed? Doggone. Are we sure we can win this one?
The point is, we always can. However, you have to start thinking about the fact that maybe it's not as simple as a man-on-man fight to the death. I am aware, not very well versed, but am aware that there are times when you have to think outside the box and not kill, but contain. And possibly the best way of doing that is with sheer, overwhelming force. So, all hope is not lost. And I know that I can guarantee, with everyone behind us, we'll win this, one way or another. I know there will be casualties, but I ain't going to stop any of us from doing our best. So, can we win? Yeah. I think we can.
Well, who am I to argue with that?
I mean, that being said, we've got a lot of other things in our path, so I certainly don't want to go up against a god and the rest of them. So, we were discussing our other foes.
Well, you have friends here. We've been on one hell, if you forgive the pun, of a journey.
Yeah.
We've lost friends.
Have
We've
you
lost
made
possessions. Yes.
Good. So have we.
You tell old Fancy Pants, Billy Big Bollocks over there on his throne. His pirate crew remains ever vigilant and ever ready to fight.
I'm sure when the time will come, we'll have a strategic advantage, knowing that you guys will come out of nowhere and surprise the crap out of the enemy. By the way, What happened to the second ship, if I may ask?
Oh, well, it doesn't fit through a portal. So we may have to try and bring it back out of the Feywild somehow.
You managed to get it to the Fey?
Oh yes, that's what Lena was doing when we left the tower.
Blimey. Well, I tell you what, unless we, you can sleep on this by the way, but unless we come up with another solution, maybe we can task you with that first.
If you think I'm fighting back here without my ship, you've got another fucking thing coming, Dargon.
Well, there
I'm
we go.
getting
Then.
my ship back.
Good. I would have nothing more of it. I have to
Especially now it
say,
flies.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm very grateful to hear of that. Right. Well, the information you provided is very enlightening. I'm sure the other two will find it very interesting as well. I can make neither head nor tail of it, but I know it's serious. I hope that it's something that we can use to our advantage, or maybe twist to our advantage, but at the very least knowing it means we are no longer arrogant of that information, and I'm ever grateful.
Just make sure everybody's on the same page.
I'm sure you must be weary too, as am I. If there is anything else, I'm happy to discuss it. Otherwise, I will bid you adieu, and I shall see you in the morning.
I will see you in the morning then, Dargon. Oh, and if Ander should ask, we're going to claim this ruin as a recompense for the first ship.
Write up a contract, I'm sure he'll sign it.
Yeah, fuck contracts.
Stamp the door then.
I'll put a sign outside.
I like it.
Go rest, Dargon, you look tired.
Good evening. And I
And
shall
you.
bow myself out of the door, most likely ducking under it. Whoop.
And as you duck out of the makeshift door that they've put back up, you just hear a voice of, Gore, where'd you put the ale? And you continue your way
fuck.
back up to the keep. Bothrid is waiting outside as you approach and says, well, I found something interesting, but I kind of just want to go to sleep first. We'll talk about it in the morning.
As long as it's not urgent, sounds like a plan. You didn't know
I
of
popped in, it didn't
anyone...
go boom, so we're all good.
Yeah, happy days. On your trek, you didn't happen to know if... sod it. This wall should be good enough. Who needs guards? Come on, Bothrid, let's go inside.
Best bit of advice you've had all day. So you'll go inside, and I'm assuming during this time that Kirik and Ander have probably been looking around for bed chambers of sorts, or just areas to go and sleep, of which they will find a certain number of what were clearly old rooms. It being a keep of this size, there are a lot. You don't search for very long. So it's up to you. You can either have a room individually or whatever, but there is enough space for you all now to just bed down and grab some sleep. So is there anything else anybody wants to do before we have a long rest?
Don't believe so.
I'm obviously going for the King's Chambers if there is one.
Of course.
There is certainly a larger room. Definitely not as regal as it probably would have looked in its day.
In fact, it's probably the nicest room
Towards
we've
them.
slept in a while.
Indeed. So, you all lay down for a long rest. and begin to fall asleep.
As a force of habit, I actually try and start to do the tiny hut, and then I was like, no, I don't need to do that. And then I'll just go to sleep.
You have a city that is a tiny hut.
Yeah.
We hope. Oh, let's press that long rest button.
Long rest button. And I've already selected hit spells, which is cool.
I love the fact that it actually took a second for it to actually populate that recover section of what it was going to recover.
Yeah. All the things.
All the things.
Oh, all the things.
Oh, my goodness me.
That's a ridiculous amount of hit points. 230. It's too many. It's too many.
Sorry, Samara, I did see that at some point you wanted to respond to something I said back then. I didn't know what it was. I can't remember what it was.
No idea.
I can't remember. I just looked up in your face.
Cool.
No idea what it might have
So you
been.
all fall asleep. And during said sleep,
Oh, we're going to have a dream. Fuck
you
it.
begin to dream.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course we do.
I'm nothing if not predictable. You all picture that map of Nylon. And then in your mind's eye you see these blue eyes. It's sort of a semi-transparent, yeah, over the map. And the map itself begins to burn. And you see that fire bleeds out from the Black City and just spreads across Nylon. Until there is nothing but fire. There is a whisper. Guard the veil, my wardens. Guard the veil. You hear Captain Swift's voice, even though only one of you spoke to her. He is stronger in whatever this place is. Something to do with gates and... I don't know, I didn't get the full details, but... And then you see what look like stars in the sky. It is the night sky, and... they begin to swirl and form a portal of sorts. And you see lines of arcane fire which surround said portal. And there is another whisper. This time a voice unfamiliar. Only the gate can diminish enough. Find a way. Find a way. And you're all awake. Long rested. You have probably slept between the four of you for 12, 13 hours. Almost exhausted from the previous day's activities, the revelations, the power that has flowed through the three of you. Bothrid, however, slept his standard 8 hours and is up and sort of pokes his head into your room, Ander. Were you finally awake? I was going to make sure you weren't dead.
Yes. I had another weird dream. Did you?
No. Well, weird. What's your definition of weird?
Well, the usual visions, voices, premonitions.
Oh no, I dreamt
It
about a
wasn't like
rabbit pooping carrots.
Whatever you're into, Bothrid.
So we're at talk of gardens. Anyway, you mentioned visions. What are we seeing now?
Morning,
I'll talk about it
you
later.
two. Morning.
You've got a weird face. I don't mean in general, I mean a weird look on your face.
You mean
Did
me or
you
him?
have a dream too? Well, beside your weird face, Bothrid.
Oh, fuck, you had one as well, didn't you? Oh. Yeah. By the way, did speak to Captain Swift. Where's Kirik? Might as well tell you about all of you.
Yeah, tell us all over breakfast.
Morning.
Speak of the devil. So,
Weirdo, you can all do that, you know.
it's just,
It's the connection that binds us, Bothrid. We've got such a strong bond now that I think we can all sense. Plus, you can hear Dargon coming down the hallway from fucking miles away.
You can see him as well now.
yeah.
Yeah, did you sleep in the
Anyway,
armour?
Kirik,
Why have you got it on
sorry.
now?
Nah, I didn't sleep in the armour, but you think I'm not being prepared now. You know,
True.
I woke up 15 minutes ago. Takes a little longer when I'm a bit achy. Yeah. Bothrid, you can't scrounge up any food, can you?
Like I've not been doing so.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Of course he has.
I don't want to assume.
The
Kirik.
funny elf like brought lots of food. I've been
Oh.
cooking some stuff up. I found the kitchens. You guys chat. I'll bring food.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Bothrid.
So first thing first, what did Captain Swift say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before we get onto the evening, okay. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, treachery or something. They heard that the Fey peeps have been talking about some information they have not yet gleaned to us. I'm not saying it's bad that they haven't, but they say the position of Nylin favours or strengthens, can't remember which, him at the moment. I have assumed that they mean him by Asmodeus. I don't know what any of that means, but I don't like it. Are we
Captain
like...
Swift said something similar in my dream. She said, he is stronger in this place.
Yeah, you're right.
Because of a gate or something.
A gate. Only the gate will weaken or strengthen. Which one was it?
Diminish.
Diminish. That was it.
We have the same
Diminish
dream.
him
Kirik?
or diminish generally?
Well, all I know is we have to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. That's how my creepy dream ended.
What gate?
I mean,
question.
the people in Failure have been coming through a gate all night. Do they mean them sort of gates? Do they mean the gate that Grelin can find? You know, the gates between worlds? With her saying, guard the veil.
Also,
They said guard the veil in your dream, right? It must mean the veil between our world and his. The gates, the door from his world to ours must be weakened enough for him to be able to come through.
do you think the gate is like the chasm, fiendful chasm? Gate to his world. The gate to the undead world was that big crack in the earth.
There's also a gate to some horrible place on the Isle of the Dead.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, Shadowfell.
There's that. Yep, Shadowfell.
Oh. I mean, hang on. Is Nylin like a star? Are we like aligning with the planets or something? Because how can Nylin have a position? And how can it change?
I don't think they
Well,
knew
now that it was plucked from where it was.
Is it in?
Yeah.
I suppose there are different realms. Does it? But is it moving? My point is Asmodeus waiting for it to become stronger, or is it more about the fact that it's moving into position and maybe we just wait until it's out of position? Can we hold him off? That's my question.
Does the fact that we're freeing the sources or releasing the sources weaken the overall magic of Nylon enough for him to have a greater influence?
Is it also changing its position, whatever that means?
Because position could mean its physical position, but also the situation it is in, as in what we've been doing.
Or very, very extra dimensionally, could literally move it in whatever realm every time we do it.
Sounds like we need to ask the Fae what it means, the theories that they have.
Okay, I'll be honest, I'm not the one who's going to ask, because I'm just going to come out, like full bore, why didn't you tell us this? I don't mean it in that bad way, it's just going to come out the wrong. So which one of you wants to speak to them about it in the kindest and politest way possible, like we're not accusing them of holding information from us?
Well, we can play it that we've all had a dream, we've all had a premonition. I've had a king's premonition. And I want them to help me interpret my dream.
We don't want to get... Yeah, we don't want to get whoever told us into trouble.
So what I'll do, I'll play it as if I need his advice and his help to interpret the dream I have had. You see what it says?
That's why you get the crown there, big brain.
No, I get the crown as a birthright. The rest is just talent.
Everyone make me a perception check, please.
He was behind us the whole time.
16.
29.
Real bad. 13.
It's roll for Bothrid as well.
My spider sense must be tingling with a 29.
So 17 for Bothrid. So everybody except Kirik. Kirik, you're sort of lost in this idea of gates and portals and gods and power and dimensions and positions and just trying to figure it all out. But the rest of you begin to just hear this subtle... As that pulse starts again.
Okay, I thought we was going for some techno. Bit of drum and bass. So, that pulse might mean...
I would say you would... Carry on.
Go on, you finish, because that might change what I'm about to say.
I was going to say you would then hear just this sort of elegant sort of horn blows, just a... And somebody then comes sort of running in. It's one of the Eladrin just sort of comes running in. Oh, King of Esmir. The city, it's pulsing.
Do you mean the runes around the city?
The walls are, yes, flashing and pulsing. It's rather unnerving.
Lead the way.
I step outside.
Well, I'm thinking that they are protective runes, so it should be nothing to worry. I don't suppose you noticed any pulsating lights on the top of any of the embassy buildings.
I point out that I actually just started walking/running towards the door.
Okay. No, sorry, I was positioned outside.
That's okay. I'll follow diagram.
Okay. Kirik, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll head outside.
Okay.
Being yeah, just looking out.
You head outside yet again, and you can see the walls just flash. From where you are atop the staircase, if you like, that leads up to the keep, you can see a pulsing light from the direction of the embassies again.
Which one?
Difficult to tell from where you are.
I head towards them.
We approach it.
This one seems to be coming from the building that looks almost semi-Parthenon-esque, if you like. Tall columns, white marble. The one that you had attributed with the Celestials.
I will, as we get towards it, I'll just repeat what I did in the other embassy, and I will go in and answer the intercom.
Which one is this one, Andrew?
It's the Celestial embassy. It should.
As in, to the north?
Well, I can see who it is, but they can't come in unless I say so. If this is somebody we don't want to come in, they won't come in.
I mean, this is not the Black City one, is that correct?
Correct.
Fine. Go on then.
Okay, so you walk inside this embassy, and as you walk in, it is very clean, sort of white polished marble floors, stone columns, bits of gold here and there. The light inside is very radiant and bright, almost too much. There are chairs of various sizes in here, some built for humans, some built for things much bigger. And yet again, you can see this archway, this time made out of stone, white marble stone, and to the left of it, a marble pedestal of sorts, of which there is a glowing gemstone.
I'll press it to see what the voicemail is.
Remind me of the languages you speak.
Oh, I don't have Celestial. I've got Abyssal, Common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Okay.
I said Common. Who's there, so?
There is a booming voice that sort of speaks into your mind, but you don't understand it, and it's almost painful to try and listen to. It's almost like the very core of your being thunders and vibrates every time a word is spoken.
So I will then cast Comprehend Languages so I can understand what they're saying.
Okay. And as you do that, that booming, that vibration through you continues, but you now begin to hear words rather than just unfathomable language. And a voice that sounds grander than anything you've really heard before. To the Lord on the City of the Lake. One of my own walks with you. I would speak with him.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure who you're referring to.
Silence.
Hello? Is this thing on? You need to tell me who it is so I can bring him to you. I have no idea who you are or who you refer to.
What's going on, Andrew?
There's a slight buzz on your hip again. Carry on, Dagon.
I just go, what's going on, Andrew? Who is it?
I don't know. He didn't announce who he was. He just said, one of my own walks amongst you and I want to speak with him. And
Well, I
then
say
in my
again.
head, I'll ask. I've asked him who he refers to, but he's not replying. And then I'll ask Shank in my head what he wants. Why are you buzzing? I don't want to let this person in. I don't know who they are.
Well, they'd be a celestial of sorts, or that ilk. But if you want to communicate back, you have to push power into the stone. You can't just talk as if it was a conversation between you and I.
Oh, can you help me with that then?
If you wish.
I will put the dagger on the pedestal and use it to kind of channel my power to try and talk back to this person on the other end.
Okay. In doing so, you will lose a 3rd level spell slot.
Ooh.
Holy shit balls. That's upset me. Okay. I've not got
Your
loads of
power
spell
does.
slots like Kiriki now. I can't just waste them.
But as you do so, you feel almost a channel of communication open. And you can feel that presence on the other side, waiting. What are you saying?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure who you refer to. One of your own. I need a name or more to go on.
I am Timiel.
Holy shit.
Dargon walks with you. Please allow
Sorry,
me
I
through.
didn't Fuck me. Now he said who he is, do I recognise his voice? Have I ever heard him talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
have you heard him talk? Dargon's heard him talk. Yeah, I suppose you've all met him.
We were all there. We were all there.
So now I recognise the voice as Timiel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You could have just said who you were to start off with. You know I don't like cryptic shit. Feel free to come in.
And this time you go through that same process of surging a little bit of power into that middle stone. And this time that purple and black flame, if you like, turns to a golden radiant light that shines around, and almost like a curtain sweeping aside, you see a portal out onto a vast green plain. And a being steps through, larger than anything you've really come across, fitting in this hall, and as they step through, their form then shrinks down to that of a larger than average man. Not average size by any means, still large enough to be imposing. And you see a radiant form of Timiel that is unlike the form you saw before. Wings adorn the back now that are full and vibrant. There is a golden bandolier of sorts that rests across a naked chest, leading into a simple sort of white skirt and sandals. Greek, Empyrean type god, if you imagine that.
I'm thinking sexy Hercules. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
So
that
just
would
just
absolutely
just
be right.
Hercules.
Just Hercules.
But yeah.
I assume I recognise him immediately.
Of course you would. You would feel that mark upon your chest as well. Burn hot, but not hot enough to hurt. It's just a radiating heat that pulsates through your body. Gives you reassurance, but also reminds you of the power.
By Palor, we are not worthy. Timiel, we did not expect you to see you here. And I will get down on one knee.
Oh, you're back on the payload train, are you now? I see. Everlight's out the window as soon as Timiel rocks up.
And Timiel's going to sort of look towards you. Dargon. Rise.
Well, I didn't expect to see you again. Good to see you, though.
I made you a promise once about a sword. And that I would give her back in your time of need.
And
Apparently, he sees to send more in a graver time of need.
that is both gratifying and concerning. But yes, we will take all the help we can get. Asmodeus is definitely a foe.
The Dawn Father sees fit to provide a small force. A small force of Celestials that can help you in your endeavours.
Here we go.
I will lead such a force. Some of the other deities have thrown in theirs as well.
I don't know what to say. This is very great news. This is the kind of reinforcement we could never have dreamed of. Thank you.
Don't get us
Truly.
wrong, it's not for you, it's to defeat him.
As my understanding, a god like Asmodeus is unlikely to be taken down by such as ourselves. Are we looking to contain or destroy? Because I fear that our understanding of Nylin is only... Well, we don't know enough about it, and I think that our understanding is it is very dangerous in his hands if he wins this. For everyone, and not just Nylin. Are we correct?
There is a power in this land, which you have each tamed, claimed.
Claimed, yes. Tamed.
Those four souls represent a force and a power unlike anything else in the world. It's raw, it's primordial. If he claims all of that power, then he can seek to walk amongst the multiple worlds once again. See, Nylin is a staging post for him, nothing more. It is a power grab. He cares nothing for the people here. It is all about how he can gain more. That is what he's always been about.
Okay, time out. Have we seen Asmodeus here? Have our characters actually seen him?
Nope.
We have
Not
not.
that we know of.
This may require a roll on Dargon's part, but how much does he know, and are we of the understanding that all of the gods are locked behind the celestial gate, or what's it called?
Make me a religion check, please.
That is a thing. I wanted to do a insight check on how Timiel reacted at the mentioning of Asmodeus as a god.
That's a good shout. That's a good one.
Make me an insight check, please.
I'll do my religion check. So, yeah, I'm looking for knowledge of where the gods are. Are they locked intentionally out? And therefore, am I understanding that Nylin is... I'm not going to carry on with that. It's a 1. So, let's just ignore that. I don't know. There we go.
Dargon's not a historian. The only bits of religion he understands is literally the power that's been granted to him through celestial means.
Yeah, he basically knows that the gods can give you a fucking magical sword and an amazing piece of armor, and that's about it.
Pretty much. Kirik, your insight check.
That was a natural 20 for a 34.
Oh!
The look of disdain that goes across Timiel's face is quite clear for everyone to see, but you can also sense the underlying rage that boils within Timiel. Not just at the mention of Asmodeus being a god, but the mention of his name at all. Your eyes are also drawn to that brand that you'd seen once before. That is still there. Fainter than it was before. But the horned crown that is branded upon Timiel.
Then my understanding of staging posts is that he cannot be permitted to get any further than this. Is he actually here? Or do we have to stop him from getting here?
In a sense, he is here.
I'll pretend I understand
There
that.
are forces which keep the gods and those who wish to be gods at bay. But when you mess with the fabric of creation, you weaken certain points.
I presume you mean these primordial sources, effects, beings?
There was a wish cast once, provided by my lord, which is probably the worst thing he could have done. It bound Nyland to where it is now, and in doing so opened the gate that little bit wider.
We keep hearing this gate. What gate?
Ask yourself why you have never seen Palor, the Everlight, the Raven Queen. Not in this world.
I presumed they chose
There is a
not
force which... There is a force which keeps the greater celestial beings away from the realms of mortals. Too many times of the forces of good and evil, or whatever you wish to call them, gods, devils, betrayers, too many times have they come together and destroyed things in the name of preservation. The wars between gods and deities has ripped worlds apart, and so a divine gate was formed to keep the deities away from the worlds.
So they, Palor, the Everlight, and all those others locked themselves away to keep people like Asmodeus also out of our world.
To keep those that they had created safe.
Do you know where the gate is?
It's not to the west.
It is less of a physical thing, more of a metaphysical transcendence of power.
Are you saying that Asmodeus, if he has these sources in Nylin, which were foolishly trapped and connected in Nylin, if he gets them, he can undo that for himself
You
or
can make
others?
motions. You can make motions to do so, absolutely. And if you think Asmodeus is working alone in this, then you are greatly mistaken. There are others beyond that divine gate which would seek a way through.
Oh,
Be one of
God.
them, what about-
Is Asmodeus another fucking pawn?
Well, no, he pulls the strings. He's always
Well.
been a puppet master.
Okay.
I'd imagine, like the lesser gods like Baal and everything, he'll be rallying the troops.
Oh. Baal.
Baal was an opportunist. And it seems his opportunity has risen again.
And what about the... Oh, just to... Out of character for a second.
Time out!
Serpent's Cloak. Serpent's Cloak. They have the Serpent God. Is that prick to worry about as well? Alright, back in.
Well, okay, back out, time out again. Does Zapinir symbolize another betrayer god? I don't think we've ever made that connection, so I don't think we know.
Do we know if the origin of the dragons in Ireland is the one that usually is?
Oh, fuck a duck. Yeah, good point.
Is there a six-headed dragon involved, or what are we talking about?
Timiel, I'm piecing nothing together here, but just out of interest, what happens to be the deal with multiple chasms in the earth to multiple different places of existence? Is that a factor of the sources and power being here?
It is a factor of those sources and the nature of where Nylon is now.
It's a conduit or waypoint for all of those different planar surfaces.
It represents a weak point between the planes. That is correct.
Some could say it's the veil. A thin veil that we must guard.
Some would be correct.
Both Dave and Doug are speechless at the moment.
If it's not a physical
It's
gate we
clear
can
I've
protect,
given you all much. It's clear I've given you all much to think about. You worry not about the divine gate. That is for the deities to deal with. You need to stop him, and we are here to help. When you march on the Black City, we will be there to aid you.
How do we best call upon you?
or do you want me to let them through now, and they can be here in Estimir when we're ready to go?
Don't worry about calling us here. Doggone, you have great power, but there is more that you can achieve.
I am holding
Unlock
Tiniel's
that.
wrath in my hand, not in my hand, but like a hand on the hilt, so that she's part of this conversation at the very least. By the way,
Unlock that power within her and within yourself. And then you only need to ask.
very well. It'll be done. I thank you again.
I've given you much to think about.
Does that mean Timiel's wrath has not reached her final form?
What the fuck?
Is she an awakened? Is she in an awakened state?
I thought so. Yeah.
Is there one above that?
Timiel is going to bow. I will see you again when we take this fight to him and strike that abomination from this world.
I'd have it no other way.
And by the way, a friend of yours says hello. And Timiel is going to step through that archway and into those fields beyond, and his form begins to grow again as he steps beyond. And a few other figures sort of coalesce around him. And a shining blue figure steps forward for but a moment as you stare through the arch. Long blue tail, long blue snout, gemstone-like scales, golden armour, and a hammer. As the head turns to the side, and there's a grin, and you can just hear a whispered voice. I will see you on the battlefield, my old friends.
Oh, we've got Angel Vraco on the team.
Fucking get in!
Good job we killed him. He's leveled up.
Yeah, to god level.
Good job we killed him.
Yeah, wow.
As the... I assume the door closes. The gate closes.
If Ander wishes it so.
Thanks for stopping by. Boop. Shut the door.
Done.
Like Starship Enterprise.
Are we alone in this room? Or in this embassy?
It is just the four of you.
Kiri's going to close the door to the embassy.
Oh, she's going to get real now.
I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, I've had something in my mind for a while now. And it's something that isn't sitting well with me. The fact that now that we keep making all these plans of what to do, and I keep thinking that when eventually we walk into the Black City, we don't know what we're going to face. We have very little knowledge of what lies beyond the walls. And myself and others, we can scry to our heart's content, but we will never get a view of the land. We have no idea what the forces that we're going to be fighting are. And Dargon, I believe you would agree with me that that seems foolish.
If we don't even know who we're up against, no battle tactic will win.
I think we need to know that.
Yeah.
And I think in order to do that, we need to talk to someone that's been beyond those walls. And I'm going to have a very, stern look at Ander.
There is cogs turning in Dargon's brain, and it's not like thinking whether you're doing the right thing, more about the fuck are you on about?
Do you mean speak to the Eladrin?
Oh.
Yeah, got it.
You what?
The problem with speaking with the dead is that, as you know, the spirit and the essence can still react to the individuals that are asking the questions. We did not leave it in the best of circumstances with him, quite rightly. I am suggesting something slightly different.
Go on.
If there is a way to convince him that Asmodeus has betrayed him in some kind, there is a way to talk him into betraying Asmodeus, I think there is something that we can't... Well, that we have to play with.
Can I just get this straight? That sounds very difficult with that thing you've done with skulls before. To convince them and then have a couple of questions. Are you planning something more ridiculous?
Yes.
I mean,
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Kirik's going to be slightly, put back by this because he thought they were going to stop him.
your favourite type of plan?
I've never brought back
do you think-
anyone that has been dead for this long. I don't even know if I'm... Well, yes, I thought that was clear.
We are seriously considering actually bringing him back so we can have a decent conversation, have him ally with us, and get information out of him, then have him in battle with us.
Not
We
sure I
could
want to do that
convince
last
him.
part.
He's arrogant enough to think that we were lucky in defeating him. Even though he's dead, he'll still think he's better than us. So I could convince him, Asmodeus told us how to kill him, so then the source would be released from him so Asmodeus could claim it for himself, because he didn't want Theogoblin to have it.
The only problem with that, Ander, is you're the only one who is able to keep up that ruse. I think that someone as arrogant as he will have something to say about it. The fact that when he was in a time of need, he was left for dust. And I think we play on his desire for revenge.
Oh, I like it.
Because in his time of need, after you finished him off, he was left as a bitter, as a real bitter man in death. And I think, yeah, I just think that's what it's truthful, and we can all follow that.
Yeah, and we can, because we have actually, Asmodeus has spoken to us, and we can even say he didn't mention you. You were beneath mentioning when we told him we defeated his forces, and he wasn't even bothered. He saw you as just a pawn.
Yeah. I think someone as shallow's not the right word, arrogant's not the right word, but his type, his character, will want his pound of flesh. Yes. He will want his pound of flesh for someone who betrayed him. We are simply providing him with a sharp end of something sticky.
When you resurrect him, because it did take me a while to twig that that's what you are thinking of. I'm still in. Is he going to come back with his power that he had before?
That's what I was going to say. Someone who's been across the river for this long, I think they will come back with. It's going to take him a while to be back to full strength.
So again, two things. You said when you saw him in the river that he was merely a broken shell of himself. Breaking the fourth wall, that was... We noticed that he was basically just a level 5 rogue at that point. And then back into it. My only concern is, will someone who has had the favour of a god know if they are brought back? At which point, we're playing our cards. And that should happen in Deluin before we leave. Not now.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Will Asmodeus know we brought him back?
Yeah, if he's not his patron anymore, because if he's already dead, he might not realise.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, would he go, well, hang on a minute, something's happened and someone I gave power to before, he's back. Right? I don't know. I love the idea and I'd do it right now. All I'm saying is, should it happen now? Should it happen in Deluin when, if we're worried that Asmodeus might feel and know that someone who used to have his power is back? I think Asmodeus is probably arrogant enough to never even think that that's a possibility. But I'm just putting it out there. I love the idea, and let's, if you want to do it now, let's do it now.
Well, I'd like to double check that that's the right thing to do.
Check away.
Bringing people that have not yet crossed the river is one thing. Bringing people that have been on the other side for months is an entirely different thing.
I was going to say, does it not take a lot of, what's the word? Convincing on our part?
Potentially.
Either that or should we just get a, what's the official term, fuck ton of clerics to help you?
I think that's what you call a group of clerics together, isn't it? Like
Fuck ton, yeah, it must be in the
dictionary. A
dictionary.
fuck ton of clerics, yeah.
A flange of monkeys.
Yeah, just something to consider.
I mean, throw a curveball, why not? I think that is potentially the best and most dangerous way that we can find information about the Black City.
I don't think it's the stupidest idea we're around either.
I'm here for it. And to be honest, it will give us more information and less dangerous than us walking into the Black City ourselves.
I'm gonna need one of those diamonds, Ender. I know you hide them.
Hang on a minute. Let's roll back the plan. I'm not in. Cancel. Cancel it.
Shall I hold you upside down and shake you and see what comes out your pockets?
No, because then you'll know I've
Bother
got
at
two
this
instead
point,
of
but just
one.
get his elbow and just be like, and nudge Ander forward.
Alright, you can have a diamond. How much has it got to be worth? I've got a cheaper one.
It's not going to be the cheaper one. You don't want that. You're
Ah,
not
you
gonna
bastard!
Like it. You're not gonna like
Luckily,
it.
I'm
Let me
the
double
king,
check.
and I'll get it back off you in taxes.
I can't do it today. I can't do it today because I haven't.
Well, I've just gave it to you. I've given it to you with a single tear rolling down my cheek.
It will be one worth 1,000 gold pieces, please.
Well, this one's worth 5,000, so you're welcome.
Oh, 5,000 is through resurrection, I think.
I was about to say...
I've got a 500 one and a 5,000 one. I've got a small little icky diamond and then a big beastie blood diamond.
Remind me, does it go resurrection, raise dead, or does it go raise dead, resurrection?
Raise dead, resurrection, yeah.
So we're thinking resurrection here.
Yes,
Yeah, big
7th
dog.
level spell, yes.
What
thinking
the fuck are we planning?
Danger zone.
Well, I'm going to say in that
It's all right,
moment
guys.
then, as you...
Simone the player only had this idea in his head for about 4 months.
That's a good point. If it's worth 5,000, can you do resurrection 5 times?
No, it consumes the diamond.
Yeah.
No.
As you hand the diamond over to Kirik, and the three of you and Bothrid sat here totally bewildered, begin to formulate this fucking crazy idea. I think that's where we'll close for tonight, as unfortunately the DM is getting very tired now. So I do apologise, I'm going to have to close it there. But that was a lot of fun, great episode, lots of RP going on there, lots of little bits of lore coming out. So thank you for joining us once again. I apologise for my voice not being on form. Hopefully I will be all well again next week, and we can go and resurrect an old foe and start to plan what the fuck we're going to do in Nile. Awesome, love it. There's going to be, I might even have to create a proper war table type setup in Incarnate or something like that with the map. But thank you all for joining us. Love the support as always. Thank you to my players for being amazing, because you guys have pretty much just ran for the last 45 minutes and I've had to do fuck all, which is awesome. So thanks for that, guys. A huge shout out to all the tools we've used. You will have heard some of those ambiance tracks in the background there, so a massive shout out to Battle Bards and Tabletop Audio. 5e Magic Shops come to the fore tonight with those magical auras. If you need those magical auras for your game, or you're struggling with what to do for magical auras, then that's a great resource. And of course D&D Beyond. I now have to go and play around with a potential character that may come back into the fold, which is going to be fun. So great stuff. Thank you all once again for joining us. We will see you all same time next week, 7:30 Monday on Twitch, right here. Of course, you can catch this episode, if you're not watching on YouTube already, on Friday, and it will also be on podcast at the same time. So thank you again. I've said it 3 times, but yeah, thank you. Final thing I want to say, and getting a little bit serious for just a minute, I'm going to say one thing as a father of 2 girls, and knowing that there are others on the stream who are also a father of girls. Quite simply, if you don't have a uterus, you don't have an opinion. I don't want to hear it otherwise. What's going on in the US right now is not good enough. Frankly, not good enough. There's no other words for it. For those of you suffering as a result, we are here for you, we are here with you, we are here to support you. For those of you who believe otherwise, quite frankly, I'm not interested. And I will quite happily say that out here. So, I will leave that as my final note for tonight. Wishing all of those in the US who are struggling with that and who are having difficult times right now. We stand with you, we support you, we love you. But we have been the Malt Magic crew. This has been episode 97 of Malt Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nylin. We will see you all next week. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.